Welcome everybody to Get Real LOL presents Project Pawnstar, hosted by the one and only Pawnstar himself, AJ Burman.
Hello everyone.
Wow, this is exciting.
That was exciting. I love that intro. Hey, so this is AJ here, and I guess I'm going to introduce one of my best friends in the world, fellow BBCan alum, Andrew Monahan.
My best friend in the world. Love you, buddy. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate that very nice intro.
Yeah, of course.
I think we got a bit bollocks at the beginning. We're like waiting, frozen like this. I think I've got a computer, actually. It's like a 1989 VIC-20 or a Commodore 64. So that's white and pale and old. It's the camera.
As you can
It
see,
adds 20 years.
we haven't even, me and Andrew have actually not seen each other since May of last year at the finale. We have not seen each other. We're both shocked by the length of our mutual hairs. Just happened to grow them long. I haven't had a haircut since last September. Andrew, clearly it's been a few months for you as well since you visited the barber. Looks great, by the way.
Yeah, I had a big beard going as well. I was growing it out. It's just not really trying to go incognito. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
that takes care of itself. But it's just get lazy and want to friggin' grow it out. But I had a beard. It was like this, and Pete still got one going. It's massive, but it's full of white hair. So
maybe he should.
The price of being 40. Yeah.
And not say he's related to you. Just go in. Just go in, and be like, okay, kind of reminds us of Andrew, but nah, this beard, forget it. It's somebody else. That's a good strategy. Just go in strange. I might try to apply next year again myself. Just long hair, clean shaven. Just go into auditions with an Indian accent, and I'd be like, I want to be a Big Brother, and hopefully you put me on your show. We all want to get back on. We have to find different means.
AJ, I'm getting all sorts of weird. Do you hear this?
What's that?
I'm hearing all the playback of what we've said at the very beginning in my ear.
Oh, okay.
You're not hearing that?
I think you should take the headphones out because you're getting the 10-second delay. That might be what's going on.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
That's probably what it is. Okay.
All right.
So we're sorting through our technical difficulties here. I do realize that we also promised to have Mr. McRae on the show as well, but he's been detained doing McRae things. We don't know.
By the authorities.
He's delivered a pizza.
He probably delivered the wrong pizza.
He delivered the wrong pizza. His career is in jeopardy. I don't think McRae actually delivers pizzas anymore, but we're just going to use those.
Where does he live now? Is he still down in Florida?
Okay, so let's get into it. We wanted to talk a little bit about Big Brother Canada Season 3. We are on our third season now. Obviously, we've already seen some ridiculous twists day one. Andrew, I love having you on the show because we know how you feel about twists. Well, I know how you feel about twists. What are your thoughts on the first twist of the season with Canada voting somebody out, everyone being HOH, and all this craziness going on the first week of the house?
Well, the twist, obviously I call the show Twist by Big Brother Canada, and obviously we had our fair share, but nothing like last year. And now with this year, they're promising, with the switch to global, that there's going to be even. So, being on the outside looking in, you're kind of like, hey, I want to be entertained, but knowing what it's like to be in there, you're like, oh my god, and I felt so bad for the two of them, being. I love the fact that they get nominated by everybody, just like, and it goes back to just like everywhere else in the world where they do it, like in the UK or in Holland or Germany, where everybody nominates and then the world or whatever country, Canada in this case, votes to get them out. Only unfair thing with this twist was, of course, the fact that nobody could see them on the live feed, so you don't get to get any kind of an accurate representation of who they actually are or any type of game, style or whatever, or if they're annoying. So, you get rid of the. I gotta say, Risha came on way too strong. Imagine you coming in with all your stuff hanging out and being, very. She said she was gonna play the big sister. Sorry, that wasn't the big sister. So
yeah,
I'm intrigued to see what the twist will be like, but I feel for them.
Yeah, everyone goes in the house with a strategy of who they think they're going to be when they get into the house. but the two of us can definitely attest to the fact that you completely change whatever those thoughts were in those pre-interviews. The second you walk in and you look around and see all the people, everything changes right away. So the fact that we had to actually base a lot of our opinions on the house guests based on their pre-interviews with no live feeds, and the very little that they show, they barely showed Pilar in the first 2 episodes. Like, we had nothing on her. They kind of kept it Risha focused.
Placements, though.
Exactly. So I thought it was definitely, I feel exactly the way you do, Andrew, unfair from a game standpoint, but entertaining from a fan standpoint. And
but what's fair? That word doesn't exist in this game. So.
Exactly. I'm, instantly evicted over here. Everyone, I always say this, we signed up for a game where we had no control over the rules, and we had no way to know what's going to happen and what's going to be thrown at us. So we have to live with it.
And I got lucky from a couple of the twists. You got totally hosed.
Exactly.
So.
What are your thoughts?
But the one thing I got to say, I love the first part of something, and then they had that 25-hour challenge and stuff like that. Like, I wish we had more torture and, not so many rewards, more enjoy that time when we all had to do all those things, and when we thought someone played with the camera or whatever, me dancing, and swimming in the pool, and we're brushing each other's teeth, and see how people are. I wish we had that in the beginning, because then people would have seen how some of our people were and how they would have blown up. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, we had the handcuff challenge. That's how we got really close. There was that, but I agree. They should really throw them in and task them out early on, not only to see how people react in that environment, but also give Canada even more entertaining moments early on. And that early on would give them each house guest an opportunity to show who they are to Canada, and that's important. I think one of the things that I can take away from my experience, being where I left in the house, middle ground, I was at least, forget the game, I was at least able to do some things, some shtick. The workout challenge, the talking in third person, I had some shtick, so I got something out of it. So it's unfortunate when someone leaves early on in the game, they don't get to do much of that. And that's just part of the Big Brother experience. People that were in the house longer are going to get a lot more exposure. That's just the way it is. So I agree, Andrew, that early on they should have more tasks to give an opportunity for people to be displayed. Forget the game for a second, just to be out there. And you're on a TV show, you want people to know who you are. And at least, now how do you feel about... So how do you feel about Risha getting an opportunity?
In the background initially, we're not seeing them, but in the beginning you want to sit back so that nobody sees you as a target, and so you can make it further in the game. But you got to realize that there's only 3 or 4 people who are going to get the maximum exposure unless you stay late. Like me, I was on there for 9 out of 10 weeks, so they had to get about the Oakland Raiders and the LA Lakers and stuff like this. When you've got Emmett Gillian talking face and Gary freaking out and Peter and yelling in the diary room and Tala just being a complete so we're way in the background, so can't even compete with Alex Abs and his dick flash, that kind of stuff.
From a game standpoint, Andrew, I felt that when we were playing, I always told you this outside in the smoking area, of course. I said, let's stay off the camera. This is good for us. Let's stay off the camera. This is good for us because no one's gonna know we're here. Canada didn't know we were there either, but that's okay. From a game standpoint, we're out of the drama, which was good for us early on. So,
yeah, early on, absolutely.
Those complaining about, they will watch the show. I don't know who that person or people are going to be in the house, but some of them should not be complaining about not getting airtime. In fact, I could see why Pilar was stayed because it's an easy preview. She wasn't shown much in the first 2 episodes. Hence, Risha was going to leave because they really focused the storylines around her first week. So it makes sense when you watch it in retrospect and having our experience with it. So let's get right into it. Andrew, at this point in the game, or what are your early thoughts? Do you have a favorite player? Do you have someone you're rooting for? Do you have a pick? Yeah, you, Andrew.
Man, AJ, this thing is completely, I can hear everything going on. I'm going to try my favorite. Let me see. My favorite, I don't really have a favorite yet going in. You know what I mean? Nobody stood out to me because now you're just frozen like this. When you look on paper and just the little stuff that you see from the video and things like that, initially I'd be like, oh look, the oldest guy, Craig or Greg or Craig, I don't know what his name is, 36. But he doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't really stand out to me. I think he'll be a bit too much still the jock and loud and maybe a bit obnoxious. We'll see. Time will tell. Zach, you know, I think I could see him going quite a far away, and then we'll see. I'd say he'll make it to jury, but then we'll see from there. He seemed a bit stiff when he first got in the house, but I can relate to that. I mean, you know, it's hard to sort of be, you know, really sort of easy going when you get into that when you're not. That's just not the way you are. You know, I would have liked to have cheered representation. We got this Willow girl from this neck of the woods, Lower Sackville, which is close to me, but she lives in Calgary now. I don't know, though. I don't know if she might, she reminds me a little bit of, I don't know what. I think she talks a lot and doesn't let you get a word in edgewise. Not like you, but. And then this Keely, I mean, she's this Mexican girl who lives here now. I think she might be the Tala. She might go a long way.
And do nothing.
Right? But
and do nothing.
I don't know. I like you know, in the diary room so far, I think they're favoring Kevin, and obviously Cindy with an S. She drives me friggin' nuts. She'll be toast pretty quick, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's too early.
If I'm not mistaken, she's likely gonna be veto replacement this week. So I know all the fans out there that listen to the show all up to date on spoilers. So you're right about Cindy. She also won the first veto, and winning the first veto in Canada has been a curse. And it usually means you're not going to last in the house very long. You already put up on the block. I know it was by Canada, but you're still put up on the block. The perceptions were she wasn't getting along with everyone. Then she wins the first veto. Yeah, her destiny is not long for this game. She does have, I feel like Cindy with an S has pre-jury written all over her. I agree with your sentiments on Kevin as well. I think he might play a little too hard, too strong, too fast. We'll see. But I feel like his physical presence is going to automatically – I think he has a daunting physical presence over many of the house guests, and that's going to become very obvious to everyone probably sooner rather than later. I believe he was a target this week, so I think it's already – people are already getting wise to him. My preseason pick was Jordan. I bought into a lot of the interviewing, the chess match and all that, and the Peter Brown parallel with the glasses and the beard stroking. Well, this, if you will.
Yeah, Peter didn't win.
And you know what? His dad's Indian. His dad's from India. So I have to cheer for him a little bit culturally. So I am rooting for him, just for that reason.
That's cool. I don't mind him. I like him a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that he's getting. Let's not put him right into that Peter, but he's giving himself that when his bio is so similar to his. He walked in doing this, which is Peter again. He's definitely a fan of Peter's. There's no doubt about that. Let's see if that can translate into game. And again, he was my preseason pick. We'll see if that plays out. The guy that I'm most impressed with, that didn't really come out to me a lot during the prees, but I think he's got a good spot in the game so far, is Bruno. Bruno is
I was gonna.
I think that's a good thing because I feel like he's one of those under the radar guys. He is already seeming well like the big brother within Big Brother, which is a great position to be in right now, I think, with those young guys. We'll see. I think he's going to stay off of a lot of people's radar for a while and be able to float to jury, which is really what you want to do in this game, I feel like. Float to a certain point in the game and then play hard. I didn't get a chance to play hard.
But I think he's paired up with Craig, I think, and I can see that Craig taking the heat off of Bruno. I like Bruno, the gamer aspect of it. He did get a few votes that first night, but you can't base anything on that after that because then they get to know each other, they get their food and their the luxuries that they need to enjoy each other's company, I guess. But we know there's already some big a couple of alliances, quite a few already, and they're naming them like we didn't know how to do. It's going to be very interesting because you know how it is, and when you got a big alliance like the Bomb Squad, people talk story, but typically an initial of the Quattro, any of that stuff, it's going to get blown up pretty quick because someone's going to get cold feet and splinter off just like the first 5 crap last year. And you also don't know when they're going to throw in a massive twist and be like, hey, you think you got to figure it out? Canada now is going to just boot everybody out and put in all season 1 except for AJ and Andrew.
Yes. We're waiting for that twist. Me and Andrew just sitting back in our couches and just waiting for them to say, they're just going to point to the screen and say, you, Andrew, you are even flying out right now to go on the show. No warning, and they're going to throw you back in there.
I don't think that's going to be happening, my friend.
Okay. Next thing I want to cover here. We're never going to talk about showmances on the show, just so you know. So there are showmances going on, and people ask me about it. I think I'm with you, Andrew, on this. I don't care. I'm not going to comment on them. I get a lot of questions about that.
I don't care about showmances unless it has any kind of impact on the game. So I don't care about, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, lines
is important. We'll see how those play out.
I've liked some in the past, but it works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't.
Excellent. I want to see if anyone wants to tweet us questions, obviously, at Jumanji74 and at Burman AJ. If anyone wants to tweet us some questions while we're here. Andrew, when I did this show, I've done the show for a few years now. One of the big things I like to have my past house guests talk about is the culture shock element of being in Big Brother. A lot of people watch the show, they think about the game, and they'll relate us back. Well, AJ, you didn't win any challenges, you weren't much of a player. Or Andrew won a lot of challenges, he's a good player. But really, Big Brother to me is the actual experience. The missing your family, the being cut off from the world. Maybe talk a little bit about your personal experience of just being away from life for 3 months and what these house guests are not only going through from that perspective that you don't see on the live feeds, but what they can also be in store for later on after the show. Just your overall experiences.
All right. I can hear all these voices. I don't think they're in my head. My overall experience, I mean, you know, going in there, we were lucky, but also unlucky because now you got these guys in season 2 and season 3 who have us as the kind of the blueprint of what to do and what not to do. And we went in there, and I didn't listen to Pete, my bro. You know, and I should have. He had all these great ideas, like you should do this, you should do that. I was like, no, man, I'm going to do it my own way. And you know, I went a long way, but I didn't do the things that I maybe should have listened to him and done. But that being said, being in there, you know, it was just that anticipation was just so much for so long to be like, I can't believe this could happen. And then when it did, you get in there, I was so nervous. I think that showed in the first little bit before I got comfortable in a diary and stuff. It's just so foreign. You know, people always ask the question about what's it like with the cameras? That I got over very around trying to deal with all these crazy personalities. That was the hardest thing for me, you know. The most difficult thing for me, and the thing I wish I knew, was that I was the oldest for a while in the beginning. So I wish I didn't complain about that, but that was hard to know that I was the oldest bastard in there. And then, you know, just getting into it and finally getting into some competitions and playing and getting a feel for the game, getting rid of some people. I think to get over those first 8 days, remember when all they did was play ass ball and talk about protein and, you know, and all this crap, and we had like 5 days before we knew that Tom had Suzette was going to make the brilliant move to get rid of Cat Yee. After that, I felt like it was smooth sailing, and ours I found it to be very vanilla. You know, I mean, it was pretty much every week we kind of knew, you know, and then Tara and just won everything, and then they made the twist, brought Gary back. That obviously chapped my ass. That's a twist that I don't like. I didn't like the twist of you and I being in the instant eviction. Think about it then last year. Imagine. That'd be great. If Topaz knew that, she might be like, I'm going to get rid of, you know, maybe Emmett or Jillian, and then it's a whole different dynamic of the game. But, you know, if I had a time machine, I probably wouldn't go back and worry about my Big Brother life. You know, I had the greatest experience, so I got to say, I think the most fullest experience of everybody from our season. You know, people say, yeah, well, you didn't win, and you didn't have a, you know, showman, you didn't get love, and it's like, yeah, but if you think about it, I made it 9 out of 10 weeks. I won 4 competitions. One was handed to me. A couple of them I dominated. So I won 2 vetoes. I won 2 HOHs. I hosted 2 competitions. I won a veto with an extra prize, which was to go to the movie, which is always cool on Big Brother. I won a $10,000 prize with it. My twin brother came into the house and had a very touching moment. So I have now with an extra sort of perk of being a servant with Tal, which was a nightmare and cool. I met Dan Diesling in the house. I was in Alliance. Maybe a couple people don't ever talk about the Stooges, but that was
Yeah, our alliance
The
has
same
only
Twitter,
Twitter.
I don't know. But then you get out of the house, man. It was just took me a while to sort of recover. I was like, 3 was kind of like, why? I was just like, man, this is crazy because you know how it is. Even us guys that weren't the biggest of stars, there's times that you got sort of backed into a corner with all those people who are like, oh, I love you, or can I get my picture taken? And you're kind of going, would you mind doing me a favor and back off because I need my space. So that was cool. This had anticipation for the next season. You think, oh my God, how's it gonna be? How's it gonna be? And then, you're really worried. Like last year, I was really like focused on it and stuff like that, and went to the finale, and I was like, okay, this is my last sort of hurrah. You know what I mean? Because the guys, they all still drive me nuts. I'm still the oldest guy. I think people should say when they say, hey, name 3 things to describe you. They all say outgoing, heinous. Mine should be like miserable. You know what I mean? And then we went to the finale. That was it. And now I just love being a fan and watching. And I rarely tweet anymore about it. I just love talking to Pete every day about it because he's the biggest fan. And I'd love for him to get on there, keep telling him every day, bro, it's never gonna happen. So sorry, I ruined your chances. But it was awesome. I love it. But I know I was sitting there. I'd never do this again. I would, AJ, of course.
Pardon me, guys. Andrew,
partners in All Stars.
The reason that you keep hearing yourself, Andrew, is because you have the YouTube page open as well, just so you know. You have both windows open. You need to close the YouTube page or pause and mute it. That's all.
That's why you're hearing the 10-second delay.
Gotcha. All right.
There you go.
Oh, man.
There you go. Technology.
I'm not tech savvy.
Great answer. One of the Andrew's experience exactly how we feel. In fact, I was just with a group of ex-Big Brothers, John, Netta, Peter, Topaz, Ika. We all got together. I mean, we try to actually go out and do things. Like actually and Liza was there too. Like it was like 7 of us. We actually try to do normal things that groups of friends will do, like go out to a bar, hang out, maybe go mini golfing or whatever the hell. But inevitably, what did 7 ex-Big Brother people do? We sit in a place and start talking with each other about Big Brother. There's no way to avoid it. We'll talk about what's going on in this season. We'll talk about our experiences. But one thing that's mutually experienced by everyone is that post-Big Brother getting back to the real world phase, which everybody goes through. There's actually, I talked to Ned about this. We kind of articulated this really well. There's really 3 groups of Big Brother. There's pre-jury, there's jury who's actually in jury, the 6 of us, okay, that were in jury, and then there's final 3. Every season seems to have that. Final 3 has their own thing. Gary, Emmett, and Jillian have their own bond because they were in the house the entire time. You were obviously there for 9 weeks with them, most of them anyway. But I feel you're definitely more connected to the jury people because we had that whole week together outside the game. Tala was there as well. She was in more our group, I feel like, as well. Because we got that, the game's over, let's have some actual fun, and we could separate. But we're still in the house the entire time, at least in the experience the entire time. So we still have that same getting back to reality. At least with the pre-jury people, they get to get back to their normal lives while the show is going on, recover while the show is going on, and then kind of have a wrap-up at the end, the finale. So I think the pre-jury people, from my experience of dealing with them and being friends with them from both seasons, they have the best outlook because they get their TV exposure. They don't get to go to jury, which some of them miss out on, but in a lot of ways it's a lot of a blessing because you don't have to wait around. You go right back to your regular life if you want to. I think they have their own. They have a good. That's how I basically grouped the Big Brother experience in those 3, in those 3 groups. And you can see that with the bonds that I have with the people from jury that I spend time with are the strongest because not only do you spend that extra time together outside the game, but you also have the similar experience. And that's just how I feel. And that recovery phase, I mean, we all went through a long one. I could tell you, I'm not naming anyone here. There are some people from even my season that are probably still not over it. And there's definitely people from 2 that aren't over it. And they got to deal with it on their own.
Yeah, man.
And it's hard
to get closure, How do you get that? You know what I mean? Like, you think back, that's all you do is think back and say, what if, especially when you're not, if you're not in that top, either the top 3 or the top 5. You know, if you think about it, either a winner, a top 3 person who stayed all the way,
Sure.
a major character who got major airtime. You know, those people, or maybe somebody. No, that's it. The rest of us then are left thinking, oh, what if? You know, if only I had made that deal instead of this one. But you can't go back. You know, and you only got one chance to make a first impression, and unfortunately, some of us screw up, or some of us don't make the most of it in the house. After the house, there is no making the most of it. There's only a couple people who get anything out of it. Look, Peter and Gary, they've got a legitimate, you know, gig now. After that, you know, Emmett and Jillian still they have each other, and they've got a business on the go, so they're, you know, they're together, and they've got that from the show, which is amazing. And then you got, you know, John and Netta, who have each other now from the show, and there's a bunch of friendships. But really, when it comes down to the life change, I mean, I don't know about you. I know you changed, you got a different job, but still, it's not like now you're like, hey, I'm AJ, and I'm the Big Brother manager of, you know, Imagination Land. You know, I'm still working insurance, and you know, it's still a great job, but we're not, you know,
it's a better title than I actually have. House of Imagination.
But it's just pretty much the same. Now we're just a former person who has a better perspective on the actual game of Big Brother because we played.
Yeah, I think one of the funny things is, I guess because I didn't really talk about what I did as a career in the house, people make these ridiculous assumptions about what I did, and they're so vast. It's like, oh yeah, you're going back to your regular job, business, right? I'm like, business, yeah, that's what I did, business. So what is that? That's nothing. That's what that is. Like, people have no idea. Like you are, for example, no one's gonna come to you and say, oh, Andrew, how's that insurance job? But yeah, they could have been live feeders and actually known that, but it's so rare. Like, it's like you being your age and me being my age. It's like whatever we did prior to Big Brother washed away, and who we were on Big Brother, they assume that's who we're always going to be, and that's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Hey, AJ, do you still talk in third person? I'm like, yeah. AJ still talks in third person to his CFO clients who have no idea who I am, who I'm selling software to. Yeah, that's what I do, and I still have a job.
Yeah.
No, it's much different, and that's the funny thing is, and I don't know how much I like that or I don't like that, but I'm okay with it because it's interesting. I got a really good question here about social media. It's a big part of the show. It's a big part of our connection to the fans. What are your thoughts and maybe some of your experiences? Have you had some off experiences from social media, some terrible tweets? What are your overall thoughts on social media being a part of the Big Brother experience?
It's, you know, social media, obviously, you know, someone set up a fan page for me while I was in there, which is, you know, cool for the people who aren't on Twitter. It's an interesting way to connect with some of the, you know, the super duper friends, people who really love you. So that's cool. I mean, it's nice to, when you first get out and you tweet, you know, you see all these people. And it's overwhelming, isn't it? You know, when you're like, you see your Twitter followers go up and up and up. And, you know, I mean, my Twitter followers, I have more than, you know, the population of my hometown in Corner Brook. You know what I mean? There's over 20,000. There's 20,000 people who live there. So that's cool. And you get a lot of stuff. I love you, which is awesome. And, you know, talking in between, keeping up on, you know, people and even the show. Now after the fact, it's so cool watching the U.S. show. But obviously, there's the negative side about it, which is, you know, it's I always screw up this word, the anonymity of the internet. You know, there's all those trolls out there. And, you know, people, you know, there's always, you know, if you don't have anything good to say, then don't say anything at all. Which, you know, is a good credo, obviously, to live by. But people, when there's no fear of being found out or anything, then, you know, because you can hide behind a smiley face as your logo or whatever, or an egg. And then they just say the most horrible things. I mean, I'll always remember the one that I had. It was just like, wow. And I never responded to them because, you know, you want to get back and say, hey, man, where do you live? I'm going to come and find you. But, you know, basement, not like you. But, you know, I remember this one tweet from this, I don't know who it was, who had this weird picture, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, Andrew, I didn't like the way you talked to Tala. By the way, I took a shit on your dad. I was like, oh. Well, that's awfully sweet of you. Sorry I talked to Tala that way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But, you know, you want to jump into the internet, right, and swim across those, the web or whatever, and find them. But it's, you know, you can't, all you can do is block them. But, you know, it's good and it's bad. It's good and it's bad, it's good and it's bad, it's good and it's bad. Much like life, I guess.
I would say, obviously, good and bad with everything for me, too. I get a lot more good than bad, and I'll focus on that anyway. And I'll take the good over the bad any day of the week. We do get some crazy questions, some obviously weird questions, and I think what we need to I think the one message that I'll give everyone out there, I personally love social media followers, and I'll tweet everyone back that tweets me. I love to interact with fans. But one thing to keep in mind is, and I really want to say this, is that, again, something that we talked about a few nights ago, is that we played the game. Now, whether we were good or bad, or your opinions on how we played the game, we played the game. So our opinions are relevant, no matter if you like them or agree with them or not. And I'll say this, I'll call out old bad players, from last season. I don't even think he would say he's a good player. Paul Jackson. Paul Jackson, I'm not pinpointing him specifically, but he would be considered a bad Big Brother player. But guess what? Paul Jackson's opinion of what's going on in Big Brother is still more relevant than the best blogger out there. Because you know what? He was there. He was in the house, and he has his opinion, and it's valid. So what I like about having played Big Brother before and now being able to watch it is I can, in essence, whether you like my opinions or not, I'm now a broadcaster. I can now say, well, this is the play-by-play of what's going on. Whether you agree with my opinion or not, irrelevant. My opinion isn't a valid opinion because of our experience. And I kind of like that because in my previous life, in my current life, I'm a huge football fan. I'm a huge sports fan. And I have great analysis on the NFL and great analysis on basketball. But guess what? No one cares about any of that but people do care about my Big Brother lifestyle, and people do actually like my opinions on that. So it's very interesting that I've always wanted a role in that world, but I'll never get one in that world because I cannot dribble a basketball. I cannot jump that high. But Big Brother, very similar. You may have your opinions on how we played the game in Big Brother, but unless you're there, unless you actually go out and audition and get on the show, I'm sorry, but your opinion's not going to mean as much. And that's just the way it is. We appreciate it. We're open to it. But just so you know, there is a barrier between players and watchers. And for those of you out there who think, hey, I can be better than you, AJ, great. Do it. Apply. That's the one thing I never liked about some of the people out there that follow us and kind of hate on us here and there, is that are you the type of kid that's actually going to say, oh my God, I'm way better than AJ. I'm going to apply. That's all I want you guys to do. For any of you out there that think it's easy, apply. Get off the couch and apply. Don't say it's easy and never apply. That's the problem I have. For those of you out there, and in fact, I don't know if you saw the Zach actually retweeted Peter 15 minutes after Peter was out of our season. In fact, I think we were watching a baseball game while he was answering that tweet on Zach. A fan found it for him, and it was, eat a salad, pussy kind of thing to Peter. And, again, just a little hate tweet, but it's really funny that Zach went from hate tweeter to Big Brother player. So it's really interesting that he's going to get a taste of his own medicine. No matter how well he does in Big Brother, he's going to get a big taste of this medicine. And frankly, I don't have any beef with Zach. I don't like what he said about Peter because he's one of my best friends, and I would defend him like I would defend any of my past house guests. But I don't have to say much to Zach except go look at your notifications when you get outside the house, because there's as many people that want to. You're going to get a lot of, oh my God, you're so hot. Oh my God, I want to see you naked. That's great. You're also going to get a lot of, you're a douchebag, no matter how he plays the game. I'm not even calling him out as a douchebag. I have no idea what Zach's going to play like, but he's going to get some hate because that's part of.
Here's the other thing, though, AJ. AJ, I agree with you in one sense, but guess what? He's allowed to have his own opinion, and if he doesn't like Peter as a player, then there's lots of them. I'm sure Peter had lots of haters. He got lots of lovers. At least he has his name on the tweet, and he can say that if he wants. We didn't say that, but he's going to get it as well, or he's not. But everybody has haters. Everybody, and like I said, what about Evil Dick? He calls people out and says the worst shit, and just because he won, it's fine. I mean, you know what I mean? Everybody can say what they want. It sucks. I mean, it's rude and all that stuff, but it's just a Twitter thing. I mean, it's like he says what he wants, and now Peter, if and when Zach gets evicted, which I think he's got a good chance to go a decent way. We'll see. You don't know, but then Peter will have his chance to talk to him on the sideshow and rip him a new one, which I hope he starts to do a bit more of, because I'd like to see him. He says he's going to be harder, but I don't. Let's see it. He didn't even talk to Arisha. I guess it's probably because of the twist and they're not allowed. But let's see it. You know what I mean? Bring that stuff out. You say you're going to do it, but let's do it. I want to see it.
Maybe saving all his venom right now for Zach. That's my guess. I mean, what can you do, Arisha?
I want to see him if he's the mean guy on the show. Let's see it.
Exactly. We'll see what happens. Excellent. Yeah, are there any other questions? Shady, did you have any other questions from some of the fan bases? I want to ask us some. We've already kind of talked about our favorite house guest. I know I'm getting a couple tweets about that. Here I got a question here from at Steamy Punker. Hello, at Steamy Punker. We'll answer this question if you like, to some level. Okay, the question basically says it's a production related question. So how does production play? I think we should stay away from that. But what I will say is, the question is, let's talk about the season's lack of gameplay. I'm gonna personally say that first of all, it's like day 10 or day 12 of the actual show or something like that. We're still early. The first week is almost a wash because of the twist in terms of gameplay. If you were really playing that week,
yeah,
that all got washed out the window when Canada voted. So I don't think there's always a lack of gameplay. If you aren't seeing it on the feeds, if you're not really seeing it, and I really haven't seen any top players yet, but it's still so early. And don't think there won't be any gameplay.
Yeah.
There will be lots of gameplay, and there's lots of gameplay going on right now. The fact that you can't pinpoint an actual game player right now, probably a good thing, in my opinion. I would say the guy that's
standing out. Lots of game players, lots of super fans and that we'll have to wait and see. I think that you could potentially see, who knows what direction it's going. You could potentially see 6 people who could break out and be the big star. It's all dependent on some luck, maybe some twists, some actual connections, some actual hard work, and I always say, and so does Pete, there's a lot of luck involved. So we'll see. I had somebody tweet me and say that my Wi-Fi sucks. Yeah, I know it does. Thanks.
That goes under the hate category. Hating Andrew's Wi-Fi. Set up a new account just for Andrew's Wi-Fi and mean tweet it. You just froze it on my screen right now. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good question, though. Oh, this is a good question. Who would you get? Shady, thanks for this. I think you probably pulled this from the chat room. Great. Who in the house would you get along with best? Potential for you, Andrew, potential AJ, and a potential Andrew for AJ. Who would that be in the house for you?
For me right now, I don't know. I'd probably say, I don't know. I mean, maybe Bruno and, Johnny. Craig's obviously closer to my age. One of my skills in the beginning was being able to talk to everybody. You know what I mean? So, but I could see that. I mean, obviously the fellas, you never know. I had someone tweet me say, "Oh, too bad Risha wasn't in there when Andrew was in there." It's like, come on, I don't. So I don't know. It's too early, man.
We could find out where Sequester is, Andrew. It's not impossible. We could find out where Sequester is. And, okay, I actually agree 100% with Andrew. I agree 100% with Andrew. Actually, Bruno would be the guy that I'd probably gravitate a lot towards, age-wise, big brother-wise. It's why I bonded with Andrew, the older guy. It's also somebody you can somewhat relate to from the younger guys. I know I'm going to be able to get along with the younger guys, but frankly, I'm not going to trust them as much. That's just natural. I'm going to trust someone a little older. I think I would get along with Sarah, free-spirited from Toronto.
Yeah, Sarah, I forgot.
I think I would get along with her for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think Sarah's really cool. And other than that, it's really hard for me to gauge. I think I could definitely relate to Jordan and Neha from a cultural standpoint. I don't know. I mean, I also have sisters that are similar to Neha, and I know I would never want to play Big Brother with them if she's similar to my sisters that are Indian. So, I'm really cheering for her, and I hope she does well. Represents Toronto, represents the the East Indian community really well. But I'm really worried about her. Any week she stays in the house, I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Because I really think she may have the deck stacked up against her based on a lot of factors. But we'll see how that works out. One last thing.
Yeah.
You've been through Sequester yourself, as I have, and Jury, and now Risha potentially is going to have maybe 4 weeks of Sequester, and after that 4 weeks, there may be a comp to get her back in the house, which I think is likely, but who knows? Like, what are your thoughts on we've done Sequester, then you go into the house, then you play the game, and then you go home or you go to Jury. She's going house, Sequester, potentially back at the house, but most likely back out, because that's just the odds. You only have a 1 in 5 chance. Like, Sequester, how crazy would you go?
Sequester, I mean, I can't remember some of us longer, some of us shorter, but
Right.
I could not imagine that. Because if she's in there for, maybe with Twist, maybe everybody out, but you know what I mean? You lose your mind, you're cut off from that. At least when you're in the house and you're cut off from the outside world, where you've got people to talk to and you've got that goal at the end of the rainbow, which is to make it to Curie. No, you're not going to go back. But then it's almost like maybe in season 13. Remember when they the first 4 or 5 house guests all competed, and like super handsome bad. Lawton or whatever his name was, he threw it or whatever and didn't make it back because he thought he was going to.
Oh, the wine. Oh, the wine. And I've actually hung out with Lawton a few times. Great guy, but man.
Leader in that sort of category. Depends on who else gets evicted, but we'll see.
Yeah, good old LeWine. Great guy. I've had a chance to hang out with him a few times. Awesome, but yeah, probably the worst move. One of the worst moves in Big Brother history was vote me out. I'm going to get a power, and I'm going to come back in. No, you didn't. I mean,
it's not called expected, you know?
There's AJ volunteering to be a pawn, knowing he's going to be safe in almost every scenario. That's one level of risking your life. But then there's vote me out. So anyway, love the guy, great guy though. Maybe one day he'll be a guest on the show and he can call me out, which is even better. I think we're about at the hour point here. I think we've had a great first show here. Andrew, you've been awesome. Any other questions that were asked, I will definitely tweet back to you guys. And awesome, we're going to try to do this every Sunday. Andrew, I'm already anticipating another visit from you down the road because people want more stooges. No questions asked. And maybe we'll get that third stooge, to somehow join us for Edmonton if we can get her out of bed.
I will see. I don't know if we can handle it, but hey, just one last thing I got to say. See if people were talking about you on the feeds. He made that stupid joke about Sarah saying, "Yeah, someone said a J." But then you actually they mentioned your name, but unfortunately it was one of the worst players of all time. No, I know you're talking about Paul Jackson. Hey, buddy, I love you. You made it to jury, was awesome, but you weren't exactly a comp beast. I love you. I'd love to be back on. But you're just a beast. You're a color man.
Sexy beast. That's fine. You know what? My whole thing was when I had the perception from you, of course, and from everyone else in the house, AJ, you suck at everything. I'm like, you know what? Okay. So I took it to another level. So if they're going to think that I'm bad, I'm just going to get worse at everything because that just makes me stay in longer. I know that if I had somehow gone through that instant, then it would have taken me to Final 3 because it's like, okay, well, who am I going to sit next to? Like everybody else?
That's why they screwed up. Why would you vote me?
But I suck. And I'm okay with that because it's the facts. Because if I'm watching myself, I wouldn't be cheering for me. And that's how I know. That's how I know. This guy who lifts his eyebrows, get him out. Get him out.
Yeah. Yeah, you had your tasks, you had your moments, you know what I mean? It was fun, buddy.
I am just a less popular version of Tala.
You're the bomb.
Pretty much it.
All right, is that it?
Yeah, that's it, man. Great. Thanks a lot, brother.
Well,
Thanks a lot,
man. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, man, for sure.